Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 27. It's going to be just me by myself today because this is my Surface Book 2 review. As we've mentioned in a previous, maybe even a couple previous podcasts, I was getting it here for work, and I now have it. I've had it for a week or two or three, maybe a month. It is my main computer, and then, of course, I take it home or even to some of the school sites to where I do various stuff that I do. So what I thought about doing for this review, instead of me rambling, as I am now, you're welcome, let's play the introducing the new Surface Book 2 video, which is on YouTube. It's made by Microsoft. It's basically like a 2-minute commercial. Let's play it. And then I will pause every once in a while and give my input on what I think about what it's actually saying. So let's start it and see if I agree with how great Microsoft thinks their product is. Okay, let's go. All right, before we get into the various 3D related things that it can do, let's talk about a few things about what it showed here. It showed the processor, 8th gen Core i7. i5s are available. I have the i7, the higher end one, the highest end actually. And it is super fast. It's quad core, and I'm not sure if it's hyper-threaded, which means it tells Windows that it's 8 cores, but it's still very, very fast. And it encodes video fast. That's partially because of the graphics card. I think it gets into that later in the video. It showed the hinge. The hinge is a bit of a concern for me. I like the hinge, and it does make opening the large display. I have the 15-inch model, but there's two problems with it. Number one, well, two potential problems. Number one, maybe down the line, will that wear away? Because I think unlike the first Surface Book where the whole thing was a hinge, and this version, the whole thing looks like it's the hinge, but the actual metal clasps of the hinge are only on the left and right side. That's probably for weight, and they claim it's a slightly new design and it's supposed to work a little better. Hopefully it does, but if it starts to get too weak, that lid / screen is heavy, because that's actually where the bulk of the computer is. The bottom where the keyboard is just simply a battery and a graphics card. There's other things, but that's basically what it is. So that's going to be a potential concern. The other problem is it doesn't lay flat. It leaves an opening there, a teardrop, if you will, opening. You can look right through it when it's shut. And if your bag is really heavy and you put it in and you get a lot of pressure from both sides, will that cause a problem? I don't know the answer to it yet because so far it hasn't, but I try to keep my bag kind of light, and it does have a very hard padded area for it. But so that's a potential concern as well right there. I will say, though, the screen is beautiful. It's not quite a 4K display, but it does display 4K content great. 4K video plays smoothly, and it's nice and bright. So it's so far pretty great. It showed in the video here, the little eye where it's looking at you. That's the face detection, so it's called Hello. Logs you in. I did use that for a little bit to test it out and play with it. It's very fast. If you have enough light, it's great. If the light is mediocre or worse, then it's not so great. But that's where you put in a password or a PIN as a backup, and then those actually work pretty well. But if there's enough light, then that hello feature does work really well. How secure is it? I don't know. I'm not a scientist on that level, but for me and how I've used it so far, it was pretty good. Okay, back to the video. All right, so it talks about mixed reality. I have zero plans on using that feature of it, although it does come pre-installed with some software. I guess that will allow you to connect to some of the mixed reality hardware. But this graphics card, the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 with 6 gigs of RAM, that is the model that I have, and it's great. Supposedly, you can play some pretty heavy-duty games on it. I'm not a gamer, so I won't be, but I do edit photos and videos, and it comes in handy. It has taken what could have been, well, I should say what was in the past, roughly an hour to encode video, brings it down to about 18 minutes, and it's in large part due to the graphics card. So that's pretty great. Okay, next. Okay, so first of all, the screen detaching and flipping and being able to use by itself, it's a great feature. I have had the Surface Pro 3 for many years. That's why I upgraded to the Book, because the battery died in the Surface Pro 3. I did like the fact that it could be used as a tablet. I didn't really use it that often, but usually if I'm editing photos, I'll use it more like a graphics tablet. I have used the Surface Book, detaching the screen, turning it around, so that I can set it on a ladder to view security cameras, because sometimes I'm doing that and I'm aligning some things. So it's nice to be able to view that, and it seems to be more stable that way than setting a standard laptop. With the weight of the screen in the back, you get a nice gust of wind and it throws it right off the ladder. I haven't had that happen, but I could just envision that happening, and I would not be happy, and my boss would not be happy if that were to happen. But it does detach pretty easily. It reattaches pretty easily. But with that said, you can't. It's not as easy as they look here, or they make it look. And there's some other videos that they have to where they're just like push a button, it pops off, and with your eyes closed, you can slap. No, you have to focus. You push, you hold, you wait, then you detach it, and sometimes you go to pull it, it doesn't. It's not quite coming, and so that's kind of a pain. And then when you reattach it, you have to focus to line everything up properly. But when it works, and it works great. You can turn it around, turn it backwards, and then lay it flat, and so you're still holding it like a tablet. You probably couldn't see it under the field of view, but I was holding it like a tablet. So that's nice. Then you have the full power of the extra battery and the graphics card if you're photo editing, Photoshop, GIMP, anything like that. Where we're paused right now, it says up to 17 hours of battery life at the 1 minute and 11 second mark. I haven't tested that far. No doubt that's with the base installed, because that's really where the bigger battery is. I can say, though, that I have gone 4 or 5 hours on battery with it, and it didn't seem like it was too much of a ding, just on that battery indicator down in the system tray in the bottom corner. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, next. The Surface Pen. I'm actually still using the Surface Pen from my old Surface Pro 3. Works just fine, and it seems to be, the detail is just as good, if not slightly better. There does seem to be a laminating difference with the screen. The Surface Book over the Surface Pro 3. The Surface Pro 3 seems like when you put the head of the pencil or pen on the glass, it seemed closer to the LCD. This one, you can actually see a difference, a space between the tip and the actual LCD screen. Usually not a big enough deal if you're looking straight ahead anyways, and you're either drawing or something like that. And it's fast enough. It keeps up. If you move the pen super fast, there's a bit of a lag, but it's not so much that it is a problem. I don't use the Surface Dial, so we'll skip that section. all of those cool features I have yet to use. I don't know if I will, but they look neat. Wouldn't you agree? Again, I don't use the 3D stuff, so we can ignore that. And there you go. That's pretty much the bulk of the video there. It is a great device. It is super fast. It has made my workflow for a lot of things much faster, much more better, as they say. And I don't regret the request that I put in. Now, one of the ultimate questions is, would I buy it for myself with my own money? And I would have to say no. And the main reason is it's expensive. If I had my own business and it was thriving, money was falling into my lap, and I really was able to justify the cost of this device, then maybe. But if it's just for the tablet feature, or the drawing on the screen, maybe I'd have a cheaper laptop and then an iPad Pro. If it was just for the quick video editing thing, well, I don't need the touch screen and the pen for that. A desktop workstation, maybe a Macintosh. Are they called Macintosh anymore? I think they're called Apple, right? Holy smokes. Welcome to the 80s. So I don't know. I don't think I would have bought it were it my own money. Maybe in a couple years and it's discounted. Sure. Absolutely. Right now you can get the first Surface Book for a pretty good price. And you can also get the Surface Pro 3, 2, and 3 for really good prices if they're on sale. And I would say go buy those. Those are I like them. They're good devices. The kickstand's annoying, and it can dig into your legs. One quick thing though, on the edges of the laptop, on the bottom and the top, under the keyboard and on the top of the screen side, it's not rounded. It's not quite a hard edge, but it's pretty close, and it's a bit too hard in my opinion. It's not terribly light, so sitting on your laptop for a good on your lap for a good duration, it can dig in a little bit. So, but other than that, if you have one of those pillow / laptop things that you put on your lap, then not a problem. You're good to go. So that's pretty much it. The trackpad on it is really nice. It does recognize multiple finger support. I mainly use just the 2 fingers to scroll through pages or swipe around, but it works really good. And the keyboard is nice. It's a bit of a pain to type. I feel like I'm typing slower on this device, but I don't know yet if it's because I'm not used to it yet. I'm used to a standard full-size keyboard. I've been able to hop over to my wife's MacBook Air as an example. It's a 2011 one, so it's pretty old, but I can type on it pretty fast. I have a Dell Inspiron 13, I think is what it is. It's a 2-in-1 touchscreen, and I can type pretty good on that as well, but on the Surface Book, not so much. Comparison though, by the way, the Dell that I have, its touchscreen and LCD is hands down horrible in comparison to this screen. The Surface Book 2's screen, when you kind of squeeze it, which you don't really want to do, but if you do, maybe you're holding it or something, you don't see any distortion on the screen. The colors stay normal, and when you touch it, it reacts. Where on the Dell side, it looks like it was built very flimsy, very light. You go to hold it, and it does kind of bow a little bit. You see some distortion and some color issues on the screen. And then the touch sensitivity, it's good, but not great. So on that regard, it's pretty fantastic. Okay, I think I've rambled long enough, and hopefully I've answered some questions, or maybe even made some questions in your mind that will help you to ask those questions to yourself when you go buy something in the future. Any questions or comments or anything else, go ahead and throw them in the comment section below, because I know you guys love to do that, clearly, because we've had so many comments. So anyways, I'll try to answer them if you do put something in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and hope this was helpful. please watch all of our videos. Watch them all the way through. And if you don't have time to actually watch them, but you can listen to them, we'll hit play, walk away and do whatever you need to do. I'm sure our lovely voices in the background won't be too annoying, hopefully. If they are, tell us in the comments. I mean, there's not much we can do about it. But, hey, just trying to get you involved. We'll see everybody next time.